Yo, what's up, guys? Teacher Paul up here, and today we're reacting to this guy right here called Tom Brady. So he is widely regarded as the GOAT of American football. And since we are learning about American football, first time watching NFL here and learning about the players, the history, the sport, the culture. So yeah, we have to talk about Tom Brady. Now, the reason I know him is because of Kevin Hart. The first time I actually saw and heard about Tom Brady was was it Kevin Hart or was it I think it was my wife talking about Giselle Bundchen. He got into the news because of his retiring and stuff like that. So that's how I know him, from social media, from gossip, from entertainment venues. Maybe venues not the right word, but entertainment uh pieces, like for example what he did with Veritasium. I think I watched that video. What he did with Mr. Beast and Speed. I Show Speed. So that's how I know him. Don't know anything about his football, so we're going to learn today. Okay, this is from a channel that is called The Gridiron, if you want to go watch without my commentary, but come back and see my reaction to it. Let's go.
The problem with Tom Brady being so great is that sometimes people don't realize how great he actually was. It's commonly accepted he's the GOAT, but because everyone accepts his NFL dominance during his 23-year career, huge accomplishments get glossed over. You don't even know about some of his most insane feats. Brady is the single greatest football player ever.
Okay, how? How can someone get that much prestige? In fact, let's start from the beginning, from the basics, since I'm learning about NFL. A quarterback, how important is he? I think he is regarded as the most important player, right? So is he the playmaker? Does he play on offensive and defensive? How does it work? Let me know that for the beginning, because I'm actually a noob when it comes to the sport. And secondly, how can someone be much better than everyone else where everybody agrees he's the GOAT? Let's find out. Yeah, the quarterback, he's the one who sets up the plays, right?
And no one will ever surpass him.
You don't know
and
that.
For anyone with an argument against that, you'll see why you're wrong. This is the Gridiron. Tom Brady was born on August 3rd, 1977 in San Mateo, California, about 20 miles from San Francisco. Naturally, he grew up a 49ers fan and a huge Joe Montana fan, idolizing him. Brady attended Niners games at Candlestick Park and was even in attendance at the 1981 NFC Championship game where Montana threw the catch to Dwight Clark. One of the most famous moments in the NFL's rich history. Though Brady was only 4 at the time, perhaps that moment cemented itself in his mind forever.
He was born
to
shine.
Even subconsciously inspired him to have similar plays in his career. Nice. Brady was the 4th child to his parents and an only son. Sports were an enormous part of his childhood. He played football.
Yo, this is for like everyone who's an opponent of the 49ers, that's to their luck. Because if they had a second son, a third son, and they all played 49ers, dude, it could have been havoc. Could have been.
An only son. Sports were an enormous part of his childhood. He played football, baseball, and basketball at Junipero Serra High School.
That's awesome.
As a freshman, he made the Padres JV football team, but he was only the backup. He was not good enough to start for a team that was 0-8 and hadn't scored a touchdown all year. That's enough to make a kid think that football wasn't for him.
That's amazing. And let me tell you one thing. This is the Scandinavian practice. Scandinavian countries, they actually do that on purpose. They have children play multiple sports so that they can find whatever they want. And they don't start at a specific sport at an early age. Like Erling Haaland, for example. He was doing other sports before he actually settled in football. A lot of players do that. You know, a lot of kids go into the sport late because they find out, oh, I'm actually better than average in this sport. So that's interesting. He wasn't good enough when he was very young, and he was doing multiple sports until one moment he settled with football. That's interesting. That is interesting. And that also comes to show that it's hard work. It's not all born with talent and, mysterious talents. It's hard work, it's diligence, it's persistence, and it's studying and practice.
But the starter did get injured, and Brady stepped in. Sound familiar? Though he played well, it appeared Brady's talent was as a baseball player. A left-handed batting catcher, Brady garnered interest from MLB scouts. He was actually drafted by the Montreal Expos in the 1995 MLB draft. Even that's enough to make a kid think that football wasn't for him.
That's
Maybe
insane.
baseball was. However, when Brady found out there was interest in him playing football for the Michigan Wolverines, he chose that path instead.
Dude, he could have been in
An
MLB.
interesting part of Brady's college academic career.
Like Michael Jordan.
He did a summer internship at Merrill Lynch. He learned lessons there that would stick with him throughout his life. But Brady's college football career didn't start off with such excitement. He was a redshirt freshman in the 1995 season. Brady then served as the backup in the 96 and 97 seasons,
That's
in the
insane,
shadow of
isn't
Brian
it?
Greasy, who led the 97 Wolverines to an undefeated season. Finally, Brady earned the right to start and did so for the entirety of the 1998 and 1999 seasons. But for the first 7 games of the 99 season, Brady had to split his starting role with Drew Henson, playing the first quarter, Henson playing the second, and then the coach deciding who played the second half. Despite the uncertainty, Brady had big moments. Against Penn State, he led his team to a fourth quarter comeback,
Penn State.
31-27. In the last regular season game, tied with Ohio State 17-17 with 5 minutes left, Brady led the Wolverines to the game-winning score. He also led Michigan to an overtime win in the Orange Bowl against Alabama, throwing
Nice.
for 369 yards and 4 touchdowns. Even with all that success, when Brady entered the 2000 NFL Draft, he slipped all the way to the 199th pick. Every team passed on him multiple times until the New England.
And how many picks are there? 200? Dude, that's insane. 199th. We're talking about the GOAT here. So many people. You know what? The coaches don't even regret it. I don't think so. Because nobody could have seen this coming. So the coaches nowadays, those who did not pick him, they're like, I didn't pick him. Nobody did. So they're okay with that, right? I guess everybody was the one who let him slip away, right? So that's fine. If everyone else did it, there's no remorse, no regret, right? But then again, there might be some coaches out there saying we should have picked him. 199th pick. That's insane. That's so hard to believe. Dude.
Every team passed on him multiple times until the New England Patriots chose him as a backup quarterback yet again. Brady's first year in the NFL was in 2000. He sat behind Drew Bledsoe and John Freese and Michael Bishop. That's right, Brady was 4th on the depth chart. He only had 3 pass attempts, 1 completion, and 6 yards. The Pats were 5-11.
How
Once
did he
again,
become so
He
good?
was not good enough to start on a bad team. One of Brady's best qualities is his mental toughness. There are big games throughout his career, big moments.
There should
But
be a
just think
movie about
how
him.
strong-minded you have to be to endure all these setbacks. At this stage of Brady's career, no one expected anything from him. He was simply a backup. But in the 2001 season, he got his chance.
There's this movie I watched called American Underdog. And, that was a great movie. There should be a movie about Tom Brady. And if there is, let me know, because I would love to watch it. This is insane. We're halfway through the video and he's still not good enough. That's crazy. Du bist gut genug.
He was simply a backup. But in the 2001 season, he got his chance. Drew Bledsoe went down with an injury, and Brady made the most of his chance.
Tom Brady, the second-year quarterback from the University of Michigan.
In Brady's 14 starts that year, the Patriots were 11-3, going 11-5 overall and winning the AFC East.
Wow.
He threw 18 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. It was rocky at times, but the Patriots were in the playoffs. On an unbelievable run led by the 199th pick in the draft, the Patriots made it to the Super Bowl and faced the St. Louis Rams, who they beat 20-17. It was a fairy tale story for Brady.
That's crazy.
That could have been his only Super Bowl win. His career could have continued on modestly, and he would have still forever been remembered in New England and all around the NFL. But Brady's mental toughness wouldn't allow him to settle.
It's a mental game, isn't it?
Brady led his team to another winning record, 9-7, second in the AFC East, and his 28 passing touchdowns led the league. However, the Patriots missed the playoffs. No worries, adversity is just an opportunity for mental toughness to shine. The 2003 Patriots went 14-2 and won the division once more. They made it back to the Super Bowl and beat the Panthers 32-29.
Wow.
And 2004 was the deja vu year. They won the division again, went 14-2 again,
What
back
is
to the Super
run?
Bowl and won it again. Teams rarely repeat at Super Bowl champs. Brady's 03 and 04 Pats were the last to do it. Brady was now one of only 5 quarterbacks to win 3 or more Super Bowls, including his idol Joe Montana with 4. So would Brady dial it back? Take the huge paydays that he...
By the way, you get a Super Bowl ring, right? I saw people showing a ring. I think that's like when you win a Super Bowl, you get a ring, right?
4. So would Brady dial it back? Take the huge paydays that he deserved? No. While Brady was still compensated heavily, he took pay cuts so that the team could do more with better players.
Wow.
His competitive drive was a key factor in the Patriots' success over the next decade and a half.
That's
Brady
passion.
led the Patriots to 17 division titles, 13 AFC championship games,
That's crazy.
9 Super Bowl appearances, and 6 Super Bowl wins. Perhaps none more iconic than the greatest comeback of all time. Super Bowl 51 against the Atlanta Falcons, down 28-3 midway through the third quarter. Brady and the Pats somehow managed to come back, send it to overtime, and win it 34-28. On the way
That's
to creating
crazy.
history, he went back to a childhood memory and channeled his inner Joe Montana when he threw a pass to Julian Edelman for a highlight reel catch. It may not be known across the NFL as the catch, but in New England, it's known as that catch. In beating the Falcons, Brady snagged his 5th Super Bowl win, surpassing his idol Joe Montana and every other quarterback, now becoming the
That's
quarterback
crazy.
with the most Super Bowl wins ever.
So that's why he's the GOAT, because he has the numbers, because he has the wins. Dude, that's amazing.
But he was still tied with defensive end Charles Haley for most
Charles
Super Bowl
Haley.
wins by any player, though that only lasted a couple more years. Brady won his 6th Super Bowl against the Rams and made more history. By the time Brady's career in New England came to an end,
Did he retire with
left
the
a mark
Patriots?
on a franchise like no one else ever did before. On March 20th, 2020, Brady joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a new
I
team
see.
after 2 decades. It
Wow,
proved to
2
be an
decades.
immense challenge for Brady. The year was rocky for the Bucs, but they managed to get into the playoffs as the 5 seed. Even with that low seed, they beat Washington. They beat Drew Brees and the Saints, and they beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, all on the road. Then they faced
they were
off
a new
against the
team?
defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs and beat the brakes off of them 31.
Dude, I must be hungry because I saw KFC there. That's KC.
The defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs and beat the brakes off of them 31-9. Brady had won it all in his first year with a new team and secured Super Bowl number 7, an untouchable achievement.
That's insane.
There are so many ways to put Brady's greatness into perspective. It's like looking at a work of art through 100 different windows. But there are some good ways to look at it. In 2007, Brady was the first quarterback to ever throw for 50 touchdowns in a season. He did so while only
50
throwing
touchdowns.
8 interceptions. The only other 2 quarterbacks to hit or clear 50 touchdowns in a season are Patrick Mahomes and Peyton Manning, but both did so while throwing double-digit interceptions. His career regular season passing touchdowns, 649, is the most ever. 3 other quarterbacks have surpassed 500. No one else has passed 600. His career regular season passing yardage, 89,214 yards, is the most ever.
That's
the
crazy.
next closest is about 9,000 yards behind him. His 89,214 yards is difficult to picture. Try thinking of it as 50.68 miles, or
How? He had a very slow start. How did he become this good?
try thinking of it as 50.68 miles, or enough distance to reach the peak of Mount Everest 9 times.
Oh, he reached
But
the
perhaps the
peak.
best way to see just how good Tom Brady actually was is this. Here are 6 career stat lines.
What am I looking at? Passing touchdowns, passing yards, regular seasons, Super Bowl wins.
The first is Hall of Famer John Elway. The second is Tom Brady in his 30s. The third is Hall of Famer Steve Young. The fourth is Tom Brady in his 40s.
Wow.
The fifth is Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. The sixth is Tom Brady in his 20s. Think about that. The man hasn't just had a Hall of Fame career, he's had 3 of them. And amazingly, Brady has a career that can stand alone as a Hall of Fame career if it consisted solely of games he played aged 40 and over. All other players are on the decline at 40. Brady was rising to new heights. That is why no one will ever touch Tom Brady. It isn't good enough to be great. You have to be great 3 times in one life. Then maybe, just maybe, you could talk.
Wow. Okay. That is insane. I'm convinced. I don't think anybody can hit that. Beat that. Pause. Nobody can touch him. Pause. Nobody can beat those records because, well, maybe. I don't know. We don't know the future. But it's going to be insanely hard. Pause. Listen, what I'm trying to say here is that this man has had 3 Hall of Fame careers. That's crazy. In one life. And he refused to retire. That's awesome. Hey, I don't know much about him. We only saw like a 10-minute video, but that earns my respect. The sheer numbers, the records, crazy stuff. If you're a fan of Tom Brady, let me know in the comments. I don't think I've even seen 10% of what he has achieved. I don't know. I have a feeling about that because this was a short video. It was just a 10-minute video and there's so much information there. Anyways, if you do want to request a video, go over to Buy Me Coffee. Link is in the pinned comments. And I will try to react to like the best moments of Tom Brady, but I'm afraid that could get blocked. So do follow me on Patreon or Buy Me Coffee on my free content. Unless you want to become a member, that's up to you. So that you won't miss any of those videos, the ones that typically get blocked. With that said, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care for now. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed.